Mercedes have a unibrow. Mercedes have drawn their eyebrows on. That's the problem that they have here. That's what they've done.
Yeah, you could say that.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to the One Stop Pitstop podcast here with your host, Umps and Dumps. Today we're going to be looking at pre-season testing.
Hey, I wasn't too bad. The boy been practicing that, have you?
Yeah, boy.
Practicing that in the shower. Get your singing voice on. All right. I've lost my thread now. I haven't started. I haven't got a clue what's going on here. It feels wrong. But anyway.
Roles are reversed.
The roles are reversed. Well, I think we just get straight into it, shall we?
Yeah,
where do you want to start?
Ooh, should we start with Kevin Magnussen?
Yeah.
So, obviously, Nikita Mazepin lost his drive.
He's out here.
Bye-bye, Felicia. And in comes back Magnussen. So Magnussen's obviously back. He had a good return. He'd done like 90 odd laps in the car in his first morning, and he initially set the quickest time in his session.
Not too bad for a bloke that doesn't know how to drive.
Yeah,
well,
you could say that.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day of testing for him. He came back, and I'm sure the comparable stats showing that he was actually quicker than his friend, his good old, well, I wouldn't call him friends, his ex-teammate. Spin. Yeah. Mazza spin. Oh, we are in trouble. Get rid of him. He's gone anyway. Anyway, what was this? What was this video he put out live on across the nation? Right,
on social media.
Let's get into this, right? So he put out a video saying that he was disappointed that his contract was cut and that he's setting up a foundation for Russian drivers.
Yeah, it's called We Compete as One.
Well, I got a bit of a problem with this. I have got a little bit of a problem with this. Is that he didn't mention the war once. Not once. The boys ghosted it. He don't want nothing to do with it. What's your thoughts on this? Because for me,
I suppose, go on.
This is not good. This is almost as if he's supporting what's happening.
No, I
because
wouldn't
he
say
hasn't denied it. What's your thoughts?
So, obviously, as a sporting athlete, I think he can't have a political view because there'd be fans out there that will agree and won't agree with what's going on.
With what? With attacking a country? Who's agreeing with that? The only person agreeing with is Putin, and he's a plonker. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I'm guessing he just can't be seen to have a political view.
I think that's a lot of crap. I'm glad he got rid of his contract. That boy spins more than a frisbee. Right. Useless. Useless. All right. Should we just move on swiftly before he spins again?
Yeah. Where do you want to go next? Should we go to the dinosaur in the room?
Right. Yeah. Start with that then.
Cities.
Yeah. The big change. Well, some people are suggesting that it wasn't actually a change and that they were hiding this pod within their big pod.
Yeah, so in Barcelona, so the what's it called? The W13B, the Mercedes new car, I think it's called, was apparently in Barcelona. So what they've done is have the no side pods concealed inside of the Barcelona side pods to collect
sneaky,
data.
isn't it?
Oh, it's lovely. I like it.
Nah, it's sneaky. It's like Halloween. Take your mask on, trick or treat. That's what they've done. They trick or treat the pack. I don't know what you're thinking. But what's the big difference then with this then? Because there's a bit of controversial going around the paddock, and some people aren't happy because they use unfair play, blah blah, and all that. But for me, I like it.
Yeah, I like it as well. It makes the curves of the car flow better. It doesn't look like it's got a big fat ass behind it.
What's wrong with them? Nothing wrong with that. I tell you.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think it looks sleeker. People haven't got an issue with the extreme version of the side pods interpretation. It's the wing mirrors is what people are having issue with. So if you look at the car, the wing mirrors are they're set
do you know what
on
these
like
wing
a
mirrors?
ballast.
Yeah, they're sort of on their own, innit?
Yeah, they're on like an aerodynamic ballast feature.
It sort of reminds me of it when you're walking into town, right, and you see a woman, she's drawn her eyebrows on, right, but she's gone a bit ham with the black pencil. That's what it looks like. Mercedes have a unibrow. Mercedes have drawn their eyebrows on. That's the problem that they have here. That's what they've done.
Yeah, you could say that, but
that's my agreement. That's my analysis. You don't get that anywhere else except on the One Stop Pitstop podcast. Mercedes are drawing their eyebrows on.
Sponsor you for the Pitstop pound. A regular feature.
Coming soon. So
yeah.
what's the advantage of having these eyebrows stuck on the side of the car then?
I don't know.
So
I have no idea. It's obviously there for an aerodynamic feature, because their aperture is vertical rather than horizontal, so they must find a way to direct the air in through that aperture to cool the car. Otherwise, it'll overheat and do a Williams and catch fire. But Mercedes have bigger problems. I've seen a lot of videos with Mercedes porpoising, and it's like one of the worst on the grid.
Yeah, I get a gum shield.
It's practically undrivable. That thing.
It's for me. It's the quickest car on the grid. But if they
not a chance.
No, don't be silly. No, but if they don't sort that bumping out, I'm telling you, no, I would not like to be driving that thing.
Yeah, they have to sort it out. There's a few ways you can do it. You can raise the ride height, but then you lose performance, or you can do a bit of Ferrari and cut holes in the floor.
Which one? Maybe they'll have to go and get a Stanley knife and start cutting holes from the bottom of the car.
Possibly, but if you look at the Ferrari car, the nose rides quite high, and there's a few cars that have adopted the front wing ride height to be quite high, and then it sinks the lower of the car.
Is that for this reason? Is that to sort of offset the porpoising issues that they've been having in the wind tunnels and everything, or is this just something that they've just started with, or is it just new data?
I think so. I think they Ferrari. If you watch the car, it looks quite settled when it's going around the track. It doesn't seem like it's porpoising as bad as the Mercedes. So I'm guessing they've already sorted that issue. And I mean, they're not too bad on the timesheet either.
No, I think I seen, and they're up there in the top 4. So I think they're going to be a competitive. I think the top 3 for me this year are going to. The top 3 is Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari. I think they're going to be the fight to watch out for. And what happens within them 3, I'm not sure. But for me, Red Bull seems the quickest, as a car, but I think the Mercedes has the higher potential. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to say because nobody's showing their true pace. Ferrari are looking very comfortable with their car. They haven't set anything alight. But then Red Bull done that almighty one
lap,
do or die lap essentially. But I don't think it's everything they got. They brought new upgrades to this like live testing, and the new side pods seem to work really well on that car. So
what's the alterations to these new side pods? What's changed compared to their previous car, which was 2 weeks prior, a week prior?
So if you actually look at the Red Bull car, so below the aperture, it's got like a big sort of molded lump essentially that, like, I'm guessing it directs the flow of the air around the side of the car, and either so the Ferrari does it really well. So they've got a similar design as well as their donut shape on top, and when the airflow comes around the rear of the car, they have it's almost like a second spoiler which is lower on the engine cover, and they direct the air over that spoiler, which absolutely pressures the car or the arse of the car into the ground. Yeah.
Oh, it's just very good engineering. If I don't say so myself, my lack of engineering skills, but I'll say that it was good engineering because I got a clue. But I do see them three. It's just Mercedes are 8 times constructors championships, and I think it'd be foolish to write them off in any way, shape, or form.
You can't write anybody off so far.
They're done out here. Alpine, who are they? Sorry, son.
I mean, they're not championship contending teams right now, no. But I think this season's going to be a battle of the upgrades. Who can research and develop
on the cheapest cost
upgrades that makes time difference on the car? Because these are the heaviest cars Formula One's seen in a long time, and everyone thought there'd be a big issue with pulling away from like medium or slow corners because the car is so heavy and clunky. But they seem to be going all right.
Yeah, well, I think I touched upon in the last episode they were 50 kilos heavier, which is quite a bit of chunk of change when you're moving that slab of metal around on the track, considering not too much.
Well, not metal.
Well, carbon fiber, plastic, whatever they use. But I don't know. Well, it's a week away to the next race now in Bahrain, and
yeah,
are we likely to see any change within the cars?
Yeah, I think so. So McLaren, for instance, they had an issue in testing. Their flow, not their flow, it was their brakes. They had an issue with their brake ducts, and which stopped them from running some of their upgrades in the testing. And some of their upgrades haven't arrived yet, so that's one to look out for.
So, what team had that extra time on the extra hour on the grid? There was a team, I can't remember fully. There was, so basically the crates hadn't arrived there. And there was a team, I want to say it was Williams. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, they had an extra hour on the grid because of their parts hadn't turned up.
No.
Their Amazon Prime delivery hadn't arrived. Like, you know what I mean?
Or a dilemma.
No one signed. The people next door didn't sign for it.
Yeah, I was about to say they put the card in the door and returned to sender.
Take it back to the shop.
Collecting the post office.
Yeah, but ultimately it was Max who topped the speed times for the 3-day testing. Not that I think
he did. However, Max set a 131.7. Yeah, 131.7. But what I did notice when he come out of turn 4, I think it was, he was exceeding track limits. So if that was an actual timed official event, that lap wouldn't have counted. Yeah, all 4 wheels are off the track.
Oh well, so I guess he didn't stick him 10th on the grid. Well, if it's not quick enough, it's just not. But he does that a lot though in his driving style, doesn't he? He's very aggressive in his approach. He's completely a different driver to Lewis, who's a bit more calculated in his driving and a bit more smoother in the turns. He seems to be a bit more aggressive and have sharper corners. But I would have thought that's a bit more detrimental to the car, because the more aggressive you are, the more tire wastage you have, the more fuel you consume. I don't know. It's just something I would have thought there would have been looked at when he goes through these simulators and everything.
I think Verstappen last season was a do or die effort to win the championship, which he did. But he had to take as much risk as he could physically sort of like take, basically, because you'd either finish second or finish at the top. So he had it all, not all to lose, but he had it all to gain.
Yeah, you have to throw everything on the kitchen sink at the chance of getting gold.
Yeah.
This
but he's a very aggressive driver. He always turns into a corner, then opens the steering lock the opposite direction to run someone off the track. But he will stay on the track, so he maintains that position then, which is
I'm sure I seen an interview with him coming up, and someone asked him how he thought what his thoughts were on the Mercedes car, and he said it looks shit. He says looks crap. So I think it's that sort of personality. Well, I don't know whether it's because of his age, because he's only like 23, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's very young in that respect. And most of these Formula One drivers sort of fail their car tests and everything because they're so aggressive and they don't check their mirrors and stuff. So it sounds they don't need to. I can imagine Max running off the policeman on the road to gain track position on the roundabout lap. What a bloke. But I suppose in other news, Lewis Hamilton. Boy's changed his name. What's he doing?
Yeah, he's incorporated his mother's name into his name. I'm not sure where.
Gotta be in the middle somewhere now.
Yeah, I didn't read the full article, but I did see the headline.
Oh well. Well, what can we say? News breaking as well. Not breaking. It came out about an hour or so ago. Same as last week. Breaking news from a few hours
history
ago.
Lessons.
Right. Looking at this, then should we go through the drivers slightly? George, what's he been like? Because I haven't heard too much about him, to be honest. He's been quite quiet out of the pack. I know he's mentioned that he weren't happy with the drive speed of the car, and that he wasn't comfortable in sort of getting it to race.
Yeah, so towards the end of day 3 of testing, George set personal bests. But if you watch that lap, the car, there's more bounce in the car than there is in a trampoline park. So
is this going to be a major problem with them? And is their championship sort of rests on the fact whether they can fix this bouncing or not? Because for me, if I was a driver, I'd be spewing in my helmet with all this bouncing going on.
I mean, yeah, the championship does sort of ride on whether they can sort this issue out, because at the minute they're not the fastest team on the grid. Arguably, Red Bull is following by Ferrari and then Mercedes.
Yeah.
And you can't win a world championship and constructors championship in third place.
No, that's definitely true. But other than that, it's been quite quiet from him, isn't it?
Yeah, he has.
I know there's a post that I seen him in. I seen a post and it was him, Daniel, Ricardo, and I think it was Gasly, to be honest, and they all posted a photo shoot for a photo shoot. That's horrendous. One's wearing pink, one looks like a Rojo, and can't remember the rest. Can't remember the other one, but it's not a great look. That's all I say.
Yeah, Daniel Ricciardo's he tested positive for COVID, so Lando Norris basically done the 3 days of testing by himself.
Boy's clocking in some overtime. I hope he's getting paid for that. Jesus Christ. Imagine that. You've got to work the extra day shift. Would you be doing that? Hell
yeah,
no.
100%.
No chance.
I'd love to drive one of them vehicles. One of them cars.
So what about Ferrari? Should we go through Carl's, Leclerc, and Sainz? Good old Carlos Sainz. Are we expecting them to be close within the drive-ins these year? Are we expecting Carlos Sainz or Leclerc, one of them to edge it against each other now, I'm talking?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Because
they do seem a 50-50 pair, don't they? They seem as if they're
they seem 50-50. Although Carlos Sainz last year, first season in Ferrari, he did beat Leclerc.
Because that's the way I see it. I just have a gut feeling that Carlos Sainz will edge the points on his teammate. But overall, I have a feeling it's going to be like second and fourth for the pair.
But I'd go the other way. I'd say Leclerc could beat Sainz.
Okay. Well, that's one change. Anyway, we both got them down. Well, we both potentially still got them down to win the championship, which we'll refer back onto the next week's.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Next week's podcast once we've seen a bit more.
No. It's as of today.
Oh, so I'm gonna have to
get locked
my
in for the season. Yeah. All right. You're gonna have to get your £1 out.
Right.
Don't get a pound on me.
Let's sort this out then. Which team are you? Well, let's go through the rest of the pack first before we make a judgment.
Cool. Yeah.
And then we'll come back to that. Did you just fart?
No, I clicked my back.
That sounds horrendous. So, McLaren. Or should we go from Haas? Because I'm sure I heard a shit over there. Let's go to a shit team. Haas. Any news? No, good. Next team.
No, I haven't written any notes from Haas.
Useless things, yeah. Right. Alfa Romeo, Bottas, and Zhou Guanyu. Now, I'm sure I seen that he'd run out and that he had to go off. There was a problem with his car.
Yes, so with the car, they had issues with gear selection, strangely enough. The car wouldn't go in or come out of fourth gear. So Bottas had to park the car, and so did his teammate in both their sessions. That's
not a problem you want when you need to get to gear 6 or whatever.
No, it's not. But
that's the second time they've had problems now. They had to stop in the previous one as well, didn't they? In the shakedown.
Yeah, they did. That Alfa Romeo is a quick car. When it gets going, it's quick. It'll
when it gets out the fourth gear.
I reckon it'll be the fifth team on the grid behind McLaren.
So you're just putting them against up above Aston Martin, like the William Tauri.
Yeah, 100%. The only issue is it's if you look at it, it's almost a replica of the Ferrari car. The nose is bright high. They got the donut-shaped side pods. But they do have reliability issues.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? Two tests.
Over the 22 or 23 races this season, they're going to have to finish to get the points. So
whether they can finish it or not.
them. Yeah.
Should we go on to the team of flames? Should we?
Yeah, Williams. They caught fire in a spectacular fashion, didn't they?
Yeah. Do you want to explain this? Explain the scenario. What happened to this event? Because to be honest, if I was there, I'd be getting the marshmallows out. I'd be roasting them things right on there. Lovely jubbly. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't actually know what caused the fire, to be honest.
I think it was a back right brake.
Was it the brakes that got too hot?
Yeah, brakes.
But I did see something explode. On the back of the car.
Whenever something explodes, it doesn't sound good. Let's be honest. No. It's not great when anything explodes. But yeah, so which driver was that? Was that Alexander or was that Nicholas?
It was Latifi in the car at the time.
So it was Nicholas, good old Nicholas.
Saint Nick,
the Canadian bloke.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It was Latifi.
So we'll move on swiftly into Aston Martin, actually, because they've had a quiet one. I didn't see too much about them.
Yeah, no, I haven't, and I struggled to find any sort of article about them other than the times posted on each day. So there's nothing untoward.
Are people sort of less resting on the morals with these, and they sort of maybe they got a little bit more punch to give, and they've gone under the radar of everyone a little bit?
I don't know, to be honest. They could. I mean, nobody's shown their outright speed yet, and that's to come this week when we head into the Grand Prix. But it'd be interesting to see where they actually stand.
Yeah, on the grid. Well, considering there's not much about that, should we move on to probably one of the worst porpoising teams on the grid, AlphaTauri?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Between them and Mercedes, they've got enough bouncing to send a rocket into space. I think we've seen the videos, and that the amount of bounce, they move just as quick up and down as what they do from forward and back. It's that bad that you would think that would be their top priority going forward. Yeah, I'd say so. Like I said, they can either raise the height of the car, or they direct the airflow somewhere else, or cut holes in the floor to allow the airflow to escape.
So is this a quick fix then for them, or is this something that, because potentially if we're saying it's just raise the height of the car slightly, I'm sure that's just jack it up on the thing and sort of alter one or two bolts, and it should be done.
It's a quick fix, yes, but you're losing performance when you do that, because you create more drag. So you're losing performance, but you gaining performance in respect that your car doesn't bounce up and down.
Yeah. So which one is sort of
if you can solve? Yeah, if you can solve the issue of the bouncing up and down without raising the car, then you're on to a winner.
Because that's their ideal situation, isn't it? So that they have a competitive car without the bouncing. Because other teams have been able to fix it, but they are struggling a little bit. Maybe they need to hire one of the other engineers for the weekend as well. I don't know. And we sort of go into the last team on the list then, and it's Alpine.
Alpine, yeah, I haven't really seen anything about them either, other than their timesheets.
Is this a respectable time? Was this done with Haas?
No, it's not down the bottom. It's like mid-table-ish.
One up from the bottom.
Well,
Well,
It's
I suppose unless we get going, it's very hard to assess where these not so competitive cars are going to be, because when you're down at the bottom, it's easy to gain a second in speed than if you're at the top and gain a second of speed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot of competition down in that bottom field, especially with the fact now that the cars are able to race closer for longer.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of movement and chaos down in that bottom of the table. But yeah, so that's the roundup on the drivers for this for the testing in
this
Bahrain.
week's episode.
Anyway, so now we go on to Ronan. Well, I said that wrong. Dumps. I meant dumps. Where's your £1 pit stop podcast pound going?
Oh, okay. So
where's it going? I want winner, and I want constructors champions.
Okay. I've changed.
Because guess what? I've changed as well.
So I'm going Constructors Championship, Ferrari. That's
you are staying at Ferrari, the Constructors Championship.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
Drivers Championship.
Yeah.
I'm saying Verstappen, he's doing the double.
Oof. I don't know. It's I can see why you're saying that. But for me, and this is where I am at, constructors, I'm just second guessing myself now.
Where are you going? Come on, umps. Time's ticking.
Okay. Winner of the Constructors Championship in 2022, and you heard it here first.
After your other three guesses.
After my other three guesses. Mercedes.
Okay.
That's a bold move. All right. They're fixing that bouncing. I reckon they got more tricks up their sleeve. So yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so as well. But you think they're gonna bring upgrades to sort out their issues?
Yeah, I think they've already got them. I reckon this Mercedes car is a transformer changing in front of our eyes. We call it Bumblebee.
On his way.
And then winner of the 2022 F1 season drivers championship would be my boy Lewis. He's getting 8 times. He's getting 8.
Ooh,
I said it.
I
said it. Bumblebee's gonna fix it, and he's gonna get 8. Ooh. That's my prediction, that Lewis is gonna do it, and he's gonna, well, as long as his son as Mickey Schumacher doesn't muck up, we should be right. But yeah, that's what I think. I think the Mercedes car has too much speed that the at this moment in time, the Red Bull car is better as an overall package, but I think Mercedes have a higher ceiling because of what they can do. That's my analysis. If they fix that bouncing out, I think they'd have a faster car anyway. So
I agree.
I'm putting it down to that Mercedes are able to fix this bouncing, and that Bumblebee, the black eyebrowed Bumblebee transformer, is going to win it for them.
No side pods.
Yeah, it's going to win it. And I'm going to be honest, I'm even going to go a step further. I reckon the top 3 is going to be Hamilton, Max, Sainz, Russell, Leclerc.
That was like 6.
No, that was 5. So Hamilton top, Max second, Carlos Sainz third,
Thanks.
George in 4th, and Leclerc in 5th.
So you're still 2 over your top 3.
Yeah, they're my top 5.
The boy can't count. Fuck it up.
my mama said I'm a real good boy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Counting's overrated anyway. Have you seen these numbers, how they line up on the grid? We go from 1 to 4, 44, 63. If there's anyone I can't count, is these people. Why don't you just do 1 to 18? Look, we've got 47, 77, 24. So why is that then? Why have they got all random numbers on the car?
So the numbers on the car are the driver's numbers. So, for example, Max Verstappen finished first last season, so he is eligible to have the number 1 on his car for this season. Lewis Hamilton's 44, and he's had that. That's his. I don't know. Maybe it's personal to him. He's had that on his car for multiple seasons.
But it just doesn't make sense. There's no reasoning for it for me.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
But anyway, it does make sense.
Well, it makes sense why he's got number 1, but it doesn't make sense why the others are all over the place. This half of them are not even uniform with their teammate. So we got AlphaTauri 10 and 22. Why is that?
One likes the number 10.
One likes number 10.
The other likes 22.
Yeah, well, there's nothing I can say about it anyway. But I will find out. Find out why, because it's slightly annoying to me, to be honest. Is there any news that we haven't covered? Is there any news that we haven't picked up? And I'm sure we've covered the most part of it. To be fair,
yeah, we've covered a lot. The only thing we haven't sort of mentioned is the McLaren's flow. So the McLaren's flow is it's quite flexible, should we say? And what happens is when they get up to top speed, it flexes and it sort of touches the ground, should we say, and then creates a skirt, which then acts as a seal around the floor, which creates greater downforce because there's more of a vacuum under the car.
So if they've got this revolutionary floor design, why are they not top? Or haven't we seen their best bits yet? Because I'll be honest, if I was driving a car and my floor was bouncing up and down here, as in the material was bouncing to create a better fabric, I'm sure I wouldn't be happy. I'm sure I'd feel it, the vibrations through the car or something.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways. So teams have looked to strengthen their floors with having struts. So if you look at the Mercedes car, for example, on the back of their car towards the rear tires, they have 2 little struts that hold the floor up to stop it flexing. Whereas McLaren have gone the opposite way and almost want it to flex.
Yeah. But for me,
the FIA has said that they're going to look to bring in some sort of like load parameters to ensure that the floors don't flex too much, because everything flexes under load. It's just what's too much and what's too little.
Yeah, because I don't know, I just wouldn't feel right. If I was driving a car and my floor is bouncing up and down, I wouldn't feel happy about that. Well, it's not that I wouldn't be happy, it's that I wouldn't be confident. I would be a bit slower on the gas. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want that busting and my ass dragging on the fucking road.
Well, these drivers have been driving with their ass off the floor for like years now, so I don't think it's anything new to them.
I know, but there's just something about it when your floor is bending like this.
It's
Like
not the part you sit on that bends. It's the extremities of the floor.
Does this then compromise the strength of the whole structure then? Do you know, because ultimately cars do crash into each other or give us each other a slight bump. Is this likely because it's unreinforced that we're going to have more debris on the track because they're flexible floors?
No, I think this season we'll probably have less debris on the track because they've got rid of all the barge boards and stuff that used to be on the side of the cars, and now it's all floor and side pods, which is the aperture for the cooling systems. So there's no gumph of aerodynamic pieces to direct turbulent air to the cars trying to follow. It's just clean car, but the flow comes off the bottom of the car quite significant in some places. So like where the driver sits, you won't be able to feel that flex.
I suppose the engineers would have stress tested it and sort of come up with a reasonable structure that doesn't compromise the integrity of the car, because that's the last thing they want in a £60 million car. Is that it falls to pieces around the corner.
This season they've had extra safety precautions brought in, and I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it's made the cars a lot heavier, and there's a few teams concerned about weight limit.
Yeah, there's a lot to fill over still, isn't it?
And the FIA have basically allowed an extra couple of kilos. I think it's 5 kilos. They've allowed more your car to be heavier.
That's fair. I know how they can get rid of some weight. Is well, I suppose
we shit
weight
before going out on track.
Yeah, that could help with a few pounds, not a few kilos, depending. But for me, so per season they spend about 60 million on a car, don't they?
Yeah,
it's roughly 60 million, right? And they make it aerodynamic to the fact where it looks absolutely crazy, and they look really nice, right? But the problem I got is they go and stick these Teletubby tires on the side that look horrendous.
Oh, them rims do not look good at all.
Least give the boy 18-inch rims, like. It's terrible.
They're awful, isn't it? It's like a space saver.
What are they thinking? What's the reason for this?
When the Renault Clio space saver tire comes out the boot and gets given
terrible
hench tire to go on the rim.
What's the reason for this?
I think it's cost, because they're trying to make the car as cost effective as possible. Granted, 60 million isn't cost effective, but apparently the old rims, the old good looking rims, cost a fortune. So
they've just gone with this design.
Space saver.
Why don't you just stick like a logo on there or something? Rent out the tire.
I don't know, but if you look on the Alfa Romeo, they put a sticker on their tire and it looks all right.
Well, maybe that's the way it's going to go forward. Maybe, hey, do you reckon we could have the One-Stop Pitstop podcast on one of the wheels?
They should be sponsoring us.
No chance.
Sponsor the pound.
Oh, Haas, stick a logo on your wheels, mate. Go on. I promise you I won't slate you anymore. You're a good team. All right, but other than that, I think we've covered everything in this week's news or roundup of everything possible of F1. So stay safe.
Stay tuned.
And
subscribe, and follow us on socials.
Yeah, socials, call to action, get them in. And we'll see you lights out, all out in Bahrain.